it is time to apply a ceramic coating, but I don't have a coating in my hand, Ivan.
I have the coating. Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. Today, this big, beautiful black Cadillac, and no, it's not from the Secret Service, we are going to be applying C6 Hydro to it. This is our professional-only coating, but we want to show you how to install a professional coating versus a DIY coating.
Is there much of a difference?
Not really. There is a difference if you screw up, and that is where the big difference happens. Now, Nick, in your hand you have
C6 Ceramics Adhesion Promoter Polish. It's not panel prep, it's a polish, but okay, so the last video we did a one-step, and I think it turned out beautifully.
Yes.
It means one polish, one pad. So our yellow waffle pad, our gold standard polish, gloss it up nicely. Use a rinseless wash dampen towel, and then a dry towel to make it pristine, bare. Now this is where we would normally use panel prep, Ivan.
Right. But C6 app is part of the system, and that system is we want to deep clean the paint, but we also want to swell it just a little bit. That swelling that it does allows the coating to go into the paint instead of on the paint.
Now, 3 drops is all you really need. 3 will do you, 2 is fine. What do I need to know about the pad and how much of this to use?
So this is the ample amount. As far as the pad, our red jeweling pad is the only pad you should be using with app. Do not use it with a flat pad. Do not use it with a stiffer pad. They are designed to work together. It's a system, stay within the system. The other thing is the orbit of the sander here. This is a 5mm orbit. Anything from 2 to 9 millimeters, great. Over that or under that, meaning a rotary, not a good idea.
And how would they find what the orbit size of the sander they have?
Well, this one has a big 5 written on it.
Okay.
Yeah. When you buy your sander, look at the specs.
You are a big fan of looking at the owner's manual. It's not that hard, is it?
No.
No. But we want to plug and play as much as we can. So we're going to give you all the answers, and then there may be some of these things along the way you're going to have to figure out on your own.
Yeah.
But we're going to do our best. You've got some dripping app on the red pad. It's not a damp pad. We teach you to polish with a damp pad. This is called polish. It's a dry pad. Can you elaborate on that?
Right. So we're not cleaning the pad. We're starting with a dry pad, and we'll finish with a dry pad. This is just applying the app to the surface. We're not polishing. We're not trying to work it in. None of that. We're getting it on the surface. We're done. It's a very quick, easy process.
But again, this is polish on there, so I just want to elaborate on why it says polish if we're not polishing.
There is a tiny wee bit of abrasive to it, but also a lot of people, a wax is considered a polish too. So polish is just, could be termed something a little thicker that we're applying to the surface.
If you can get a little bit of the why in your noggin and then just embrace it, accept it, and use this like panel prep, get it on, get it off, and coat. That's the way to do it, but everyone wants to know the why.
Let's stop talking, start working, and get it done. As long as I'm leaving a trail on the surface, I don't need to add more to my pad. I just keep going. Now I've done this half of the hood, I'm gonna do the other half. That way I'm not in Nick's way when he's wiping off.
It's almost as fast with you, knowing our system and how we both work, for you to just apply the app and for me to wipe it off.
Exactly.
Let's say you miss a spot. Let's say you miss a spot with the app. Worst case scenario, as I'm wiping off, I'm moving it around, so there's a chance that, let's say you missed one little corner of the hood and I'm wiping over it. Is that gonna help? Is that So I'm just saying, like, in your mind, you don't have to be perfect. You'd like to be, but worst case scenario, just make sure you're wiping every surface.
Exactly,
right? Okay, A lot of these sanders have different speeds, Ivan. We can't tell them how to use each one the exact way, but is there generally any rule on the highest speed, the lowest speed when you're doing app?
As long as you have backing plate rotation, you don't need any faster.
Is there such thing as too fast?
Yeah, so we'll take this one for example. This would actually work, but notice now the backing plate isn't rotating. So I need to speed it up just a little bit, get the backing plate to rotate, and then I'm good. So I don't need to go any faster than that.
Okay. We like it easy around here, Ivan.
Yep.
Although some detailers like it complicated. They think it's doing a better job if it takes more steps.
They think it. It's not reality.
Now, I have two plush buffing towels in my hand.
Right.
Usually I like to do one towel in one hand, a separate towel in the other.
Yep.
But I like the idea of having two hands. They like to both be moving at once.
Right.
Efficiency-wise, am I doing anything right, anything wrong?
No, that's good. Now, speaking of efficiency, around this mirror, I wasn't able to get all the way back in here with the polisher. As Nick is leveling off the app using his towels, he's actually going to be spreading the app into that area. So not a concern. You want to cover everything that you can, but if you miss a little square inch here or there, it's not going to be a big deal. Now I'm doing the window here and I see that I'm not leaving much behind. So if I can grab the bottle from you there, Nick. Thank you, sir. I'll add another drop or two. So the nice thing about working on a black vehicle is you can see what you're doing. It's easy to know if you've got the app everywhere. It's also easy to know if you missed a spot wiping it off.
One question I have, Ivan.
Yep.
Let's say I spent 20 hours dialing in this black paint to just the most beautiful, perfect finish. I removed a lot of clear coat. I damaged the paint, as Ivan LaCroix says, but I got it to exactly what I wanted it to look like.
Yeah.
Is this red pad gonna change the finish at all?
Yeah, it's gonna make it glossier.
Oh, so it's gonna improve it?
It's going to improve it every time. Before I go up on the roof and we skip forward to applying the coating, a few last thoughts on the Adhesion Promoter Polish. You need a dual action machine. You need one that has a stroke from 2 to 9 millimeters. Not greater than 9, not under 2. You can use just a cheap random orbital sander. It's gonna make your life so much easier. You can pick them up for 20 or 30 bucks. And even if you're only doing one car ever in your lifetime, it's worth the $30 investment to do so. The other thing about the app, be careful when you're wiping it off. Not too much pressure, just let the towel glide. It should be easy. And there's no specific timing. So you can wipe it off as soon as you've applied it, or you can wait till the next day if you wanted to. There's no stress that way. Same with applying the coating. We can apply the coating right behind after wiping the app off, or we can wait till the next day or even a day after. It's that simple. You don't need to overthink this. You don't need to stress about it. Just enjoy the process, have fun. It's taken us to do all of this other than the roof, about 15 minutes so far. It's not a long, arduous process. Don't overthink it and enjoy.
Honestly, I would argue that it takes less time than panel prep because, as I mentioned in the polishing step, I like to polish everything so I know where I've been and then remove it at the end. With panel prep, I find myself probably triple checking my work, wiping an area 3 times. By the time you spray onto a towel and wipe with one and then, buff off with the other, I don't feel like panel prep is faster anymore. I used to think that it was.
Panel prep is definitely not any faster. It seems that way, and it's muscle memory. And that is the thing that you were feeling before when using panel prep was muscle memory. We're used to doing something a certain way. So you're used to driving a certain commute every day. You could probably change routes and save 2, 5, 10 minutes maybe, but even if it saved you 10 minutes, it would feel so much longer because you're not used to driving that route. It's the same way here. It's muscle memory telling you that this isn't as fast or this is slow. It's because it's something new, but actually time it and you'll figure out that it actually is faster than doing panel prep.
I'm also a believer that if you enjoy something, you're gonna do it more. You're probably gonna be better at it. And I actually enjoy using Adhesion Promoter Polish more than I enjoyed panel prep.
Yeah. While Nick's wiping off the roof, a couple other things to know about Adhesion Promoter Polish. You don't need to do 3 passes left and right, or left and right, up and down, left and right. You just need to get it on the paint. Don't think of it as an abrasive. Think of it as you're applying something to the paint. Once it's applied, you can't apply it again. You don't need to apply it 5 times. 1 application is all you need. Now, Nick mentioned panel prep. We are going to do panel prep on one portion of the car, and that is the windshield. The reason for that, we'll be using C6 Hydro Glass, and C6 Hydro Glass reacts better with panel prep, so we are going to do that on the glass. On the paint, you want to use app. On the glass, for our C6 Hydro Glass. The side windows app is great, but for that windshield, since we're using Hydro Glass, we want to do it with panel prep, and it's a very simple procedure. I'll spray my towel down on one side, getting it nice and damp, and then I apply the panel prep to the windshield, and before it dries completely, flip my towel and I dry it. That way, the oils or anything that's lifted off the window, I'm lifting off instead of them evaporating and drying back onto the window.
So if they evaporate and dry back onto the window and it appears clean to the eye, is that a big deal? Is that not quite the way we do things? I mean, what should folks know? Because I used to just let it dry and if it
yeah, because a lot of people, they'll use panel prep by spraying it on the surface and just sort of working it around.
Right, and then it evaporates and you're like, I did my job.
Right. You actually didn't do your job. What you did was just smear it around. So we want to get it wet, emulsify what's there. Once it's emulsified and in suspension, then we take it off.
Got it.
Nick, while you're there, let's get you to apply the Hydro Glass.
All right, every time I apply Hydro Glass, Ivan, I way overdo it. So coach me as if I were a beginner.
There you go. We've got 10 drops on the applicator pad.
10 drops of Hydro Glass.
10 drops of Hydro Glass. Start in the center and go in circular motions.
Can I box in or just go?
Yeah, spread it around first and then box at the end.
Okay.
Be a little more methodical with your circles, maybe a little smaller, about an 8-inch circle.
Just wanted to, in my head, I like to get the box early, so doing it last was throwing me off.
And the reason we're doing it now is because Hydro Glass can sit on the windshield for 15, 20, 2 hours, 5 hours. It really doesn't matter, as long as it's sat for at least 15 minutes.
Okay.
And what Nick is doing, going over it again, not necessary if you did it well the first time.
I kind of figured I probably missed some spots, so.
Yeah, you did.
By going over again,
right,
I'll make sure that no spots were missed.
You missed a big triangle right there.
Cool.
Again, still there. There you go.
There we go. Anything else?
No.
Good?
Do the other side.
Now 10 drops and we're good, right? Not 10 more after that?
2 more to go on the other side.
Okay. How do you know if you're laying it on too thick? Again, I've been guilty of way overdoing it with Hydro Glass.
You'll have runs, you'll have, you'll see it looks like it's beading on the surface. That's way too much.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start in the center again.
Yeah.
And meet my friend over there. And I'm gonna box, even though that may not be.
No, once you've primed your pad, then boxing in first is fine. We could use Hydro Glass on the rest of the windows, but it's really not necessary. The C6 Hydro will do a great job. It's just where we have wiper blade abrasion that Hydro Glass becomes a plus.
What about the abrasion of like putting the windows down and back up again? I feel like that can be abrasive sometimes.
It is, but you're putting your window that's up and down maybe once a day to go through a toll booth or go through the drive-through. Your wipers, if you're driving down the road and it's raining, how often are they going by on your windshield?
You're talking serious abrasion then?
Yeah.
Okay. How's that looking?
Excellent. Let it sit. Do not overwork it.
Oh,
that doesn't help.
All right.
One pass is all you need.
Ivan, people often ask, well, can I reuse the applicator after I've applied a ceramic coating?
Yes.
We always tell them yes.
Yeah.
Same thing for Hydro Glass, right?
Same thing. Put it in your wash bucket. Don't let it dry and then next day put it in your wash bucket. Once you're done using it, immediately in your wash bucket and it's good to go.
Well, we got to launder it after we let it soak for a while, right? But then I can reuse it again for another coating sometime. If I'm wanting to give someone the premier service on their ride, and I have dipped or soaked my applicator in my wash bucket after using it, I've laundered, I've let it dry, I can apply this to a really fancy Maserati or Ferrari with a used applicator and it's still gonna work? Like, you're not just saying that for YouTube?
No, you use a used applicator on the windshield.
Hey, I'm just saying. Yeah. I want the people to realize that this is how you do it. You're not just saying this stuff.
No, people
actually, you're trying to like not sell them more applicators.
Right, that's the whole point. We provide an applicator with each bottle, but we don't want you over stressing and thinking that you have to use a new towel for every section you do. You don't. That's someone trying to sell you more towels.
What about a new glove for every new coating you do?
Well, a glove, yes, especially if you put a hole in it before.
I had a hole in it.
Yeah.
I realized that when I put it in the bucket, I'm like, I don't want to have ceramic coating on my hand.
Yeah.
So I'll have a fresh glove.
Now, we're gonna start. Normally we start on the hood because it's a nice big flat area, and this one's not too high. We recently had a Chevy pickup truck in here that we needed a ladder to see the hood. So this one we don't need a ladder. I'm gonna start with 8 or 10 drops on here. Next, we apply it. So I have some on the applicator and I have too much. The 8 to 10 drops is definitely too much. But what we're doing here is we're priming the pad. And see how thick that is? You can actually see application lines in there. That's not what we want. So I'm going to spread that out. Just like on the windshield, when Nick started, he had too much on the applicator. So you need to start from the center and work your way out. Once you have it worked into the pad, then you can box in your edges. Now, when we box in our edges, we always go past. We always color outside the lines.
And I'm going to level outside the lines knowing you're applying outside the lines.
Yeah.
It's just part of how you build in the redundancy and the redundancy in the leveling so that you're not gonna miss anything.
Exactly.
I mean, we're humans, right? So it's all possible that this doesn't go the way we planned.
Yeah.
But you're trying to mitigate against missing in every way you can.
Yeah.
in this procedure.
100%. And you can really see the oil slick on water look that we have here, or the rainbow look. That's how people describe it. And we want to get it to the point where about 50% of that is evaporated away.
The big question people at home are gonna ask, hey, it looks great on YouTube, but how do I do this at home? Give me an exact amount of time after I'm done applying that I can level my coating.
Right. There is no such thing as an exact amount of time. Humidity and temperature play into this. And with the C6 Hydro, the Pro coatings, it plays into even more.
I would say that's probably a 2 on the grabby scale.
Yeah.
So that's good things. I mean, I'm excited. It doesn't really feel like it's super grabby.
No.
It's moving real easy under my towel. Now, Ivan, is there a special towel they should be using to level the coating?
Yes, a short nap pearl weave towel is, as far as I'm concerned, the best towel you can get.
We'll put a link in the description below to the coating leveling towel we recommend. And then the plush buffing towel is my insurance wipe. And I'm just gonna clarify, I always do, Ivan, in case folks are wondering, what does a short nap look like? This is the leveling towel. You see how short that is? And these fibers are nice and long and plush.
Yeah.
So this is the leveling insurance wipe. This is my leveling towel.
Right, and the leveling towel is a pearl weave, so you look at it, it looks like little pearls on the surface, whereas this is a terry weave, which not to be confused with a terry towel that's cotton. This is microfiber, but the weave is what we're talking about. And it looks like a, like a shag carpet for the 70s, but just a little shorter.
So this is my insurance towel.
Yeah.
It's a nice one to just kind of glide across the paint, make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yep. So I've done both sides of the hood. I'm getting out of Nick's way. He's not in my way, I'm not in his way. I'll apply to this fender. When this is ready to level off, Nick can come back and level this. I've added 2 or 3 drops to my applicator. I'm boxing in the fender and then just applying to the fender front to back.
Professional shops charge thousands of dollars for this, Ivan.
Yes.
So I should be really stressed out and overthink this entire ceramic coating application, correct?
No, you don't want to overthink it. You just want to get it on the paint. Now, the reason a professional shop will charge you that much is A, the cost of the product. B, all the time that went into the prep, all the education that they have in knowing how to do that. The place they're doing it in. Rent is not cheap. Utilities are not cheap. They have a lot of overhead. People don't realize this, but most detailing businesses have between $90 and $100 an hour of overhead. So if they want to make a profit, they need to charge accordingly.
And we're encouraging you, go to your local detailer if
Yes.
they're reputable and good. Sometimes it comes down to this equation. Do I have the time?
Yeah.
And do I actually want to do it myself?
Right.
If you have the time and you want to do it yourself, this is amazingly easy.
Yeah.
It's just a process, that's all.
Right. Takes time, takes tools, but the results are worth it.
I mean, you are investing in a polisher, you're investing in a pressure washer, you're investing in lights and towels. Like, to really do this, I mean, it's an investment.
Yeah.
But it's super rewarding. There's a reason why people love it. And I also believe that you don't have to have everything perfect to just do it, as Nike once said.
Yes.
There's something to be said for just getting the momentum going and saying, like, I'm jumping in and I'll figure out some of the things along the way. What are the things can we figure out along the way, Ivan? Like, even as a business, we've done a lot of that where we had a lot in place, but there's no way everything was going to be perfectly planned for and like, in alignment.
Yeah.
Some things you just have to figure out as they come up. So
Exactly.
what can I figure out as they come up and what do I absolutely need?
Again, look at the paint, observe. You'll know when to wipe off by looking at it. It's not that difficult. Once you've done a panel, you'll know where to go.
I was talking more about like, before I decide whether to ceramic coat my vehicle or not, like what all things should I invest in? This is a detailing talk now. It's turned into a big conversation. But.
So you'll need a polisher, you'll need some form of water, you don't need a pressure washer, a garden hose will do. And what we're doing is you need to look at all the steps that we did. So look back at the other videos, finish this one first, but then go back to the other ones. And you can see what we've done. Now, we have a lot of videos on our channel where we coat different vehicles, we use different coatings, but the principles are all the same. But we also have different ways of prepping the surfaces. We have shown ways that were very expensive using lots of different tools, but we've also shown ways to make it super simple and affordable. We've shown using a low-cost random orbital sander, one pad, one polish, a bit of panel prep, and a coating. That's all you really need. Now, of course, you need something to wash the car first, but you should already have that. But to apply the coating, you can do a coating well under $200, everything in, including the cost of the coating.
I love the idea of just get someone a palm sander and our yellow waffle pad.
Yeah.
And some gold standard polish. And they can shine and clean up that paint and then just swap on, well, they don't have to swap on the panel prep for app. I guess they could just use panel prep. That's probably a little bit more budget friendly just to get the panel prep in a bottle.
Yep.
Versus the jeweling pad and a bottle of app. So yeah, the palm sander is your friend, folks.
People freak out. They think they have to buy a $400 or $500 polisher. You don't. Now, if you want a polisher and you think you're going to be doing this again, of course it's worth the investment. But if this is a one-time deal, you get a new car every 3 years, you just want to protect that new car, you don't want to do friends and family's car, trust me, they'll be pestering you.
Why wouldn't you want to do, like, it's so addicting, it's so fun, why wouldn't you?
Well, some people just don't have the time.
Yep. They say that now,
yeah,
but then the time...
They'll make the time.
They'll make the time. It's crazy how it just draws you in, Ivan. It's so rewarding. Now, I noticed Ivan went behind the handle. That's so important. You want to get behind the handle. That's where fingers are going to go. Fingers are going to feel. When they feel that slick paint, your customer and you will be very rewarded in your brain. You're going to say, this is protected paint. Everything is right in the world.
Yeah, and you should do there anyways, just to protect the paint.
You absolutely should get everywhere. I'm just saying, don't miss that spot.
Yeah, it's
a winner spot.
It's the most touched part of the vehicle. On the outside.
What are the most touched spots on the vehicle?
Well, on the outside, the door handle. On the inside, the steering wheel. And of course, the seat.
I guess everywhere that they make for hands to go. I just was curious. I thought Ivan might have an Ivan answer there that blew my mind.
Now you'll notice I'm putting a little more than 3 drops on the applicator. We have an experimental dropper in this one, and let's just say it's not going to pass muster. It's a little too small. Normally, with our normal ones, you'd just need 2 or 3 drops.
Let me tell folks, areas that we affectionately call high spot, hot spots, always double, triple check around handles. The corners around handles are tough spots. And then any panel intersection, anytime you're seeing a T, just assume that's a high spot, hot spot. I might go over that a couple times here. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna hit around that handle again. Where else do I have a potential high spot, hot spot? Here, here, here. I've already been here 3 times, Ivan. You might call it overkill. I call it, I don't want high spots. I hear C6 Hydro is a very beastly coating and high spots are not your friend.
No, high spots are definitely not something you want to have to deal with.
Bottom corners of panels, right? Bottom corners of doors, like anywhere that I could potentially have human error based on where hands start and stop. I'm gonna double and triple check with my leveling towels. I've done a few leveling jobs in my day, Ivan.
Yes, you have.
We found it's faster if Ivan applies and I level. I find it more enjoyable. Now, there was a dream Ivan once had to make me as efficient as he, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just say as my excuse, just give me another 30 years, and we'll even up, the experience level, and then maybe I'll get there. I'm still having fun, Ivan. I'm still having fun. And every time I make a mistake or don't do it your way, we have an opportunity to teach.
Yeah.
Little bottoms of the B pillars, anything, corners and T's. I'm just looking for them, triple checking high spot, hot spots, the bottoms of windows.
All done the application. Nick is just following up with the leveling, the windshield. It's actually not quite ready to go yet. It's a little humid in here today, so we're gonna let that sit a little while longer, but all it is, taking a towel and leveling it off, then the hydro glass is ready to go.
Wait, so is there a too soon to wipe off with hydro glass? Because I've even struggled with this.
Yes.
On the Jeep we did the other day, there was a little bit left over when I drove it back to the, so
yeah.
I'm just saying, it happens to you too, where we level it a little early. I want to tell people, hydro glass, you should err on the side of letting it sit for a while.
Yeah, the longer you can let it sit before you wipe it off, the easier it's gonna be to level and the better performance you're gonna get from your hydro glass.
But it's not a problem. It's not like you did it wrong. It literally comes off so easy with like a plush towel. It's like, boom, okay. This is not like a high spot. It's just, it was waiting to do its thing.
Exactly.
Just needed time.
So give it a bit of time. With this vehicle, we've got it all coated. We have the tires dressed. Everything is looking good.
So good.
And feeling very, very slick and extremely hydrophobic as well. We'll do the windows and then off to the customer. And we're gonna be off to doing another detailing on a vehicle. But Nick, what's another vehicle they should be looking at?
The video they should be looking at is a lot to do with what coating do I choose? Maybe you're not a professional out there, so you can't choose hydro for your vehicle, but you wanna apply something excellent.
Yeah.
We have an entire podcast devoted to each one of our ceramic coatings, what they do, and why you might wanna choose them. We'll see you there.
See you in the next one.